Welcome everyone to another episode of It's All About Big Blue. Yeah, I'm your man Mazo, and that's
Clay from Brooklyn. What's up, y'all?
yeah, we're here. What's this, game 3 we talking about now? Game
Game
three against the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna start off with this. Wait. It feels so good to get a win. It feels so good.
Definitely does. I woke up this morning and I said, oh, that's what that feels like to wake up the day after a win.
It was a really good win. And you know what? Today, we're going to talk about the win, definitely. We can get on to the offense, see how the offense went today. We'll get into the defense. We're definitely going to talk about some special teams, too.
Oh.
You know, we definitely got to do that.
Like short bus special.
And then, we'll just say, at the end, we'll just talk about some things that maybe what the Giants could do in the next game. What do you think?
Listen, I'm basking in the glow right now.
I was holding on. I was like, come on, guys.
And it's not like it was an easy win. It looked like it was going to be in the first half. And then, of course, we had to, sweat it out at the end because that's what we do. We don't like to win comfortably. We got to make it exciting.
You put the prevent defense in. That's what it was. Preventing us to score.
Exactly. We didn't score not near a point in the second half. Although, in fairness, we could have scored at the end of the game, and Devin Singletary sat down on the 1 yard line to let the clock run out. So, in theory, we really did score in the second half. We just chose not to.
Okay. It's good to have that option, isn't it?
Good to have that option. Personally, I would have went in the end zone. If I was just saying this to a friend of mine at work who's also a Giants fan. I said, listen, we were only up 6 points. I remember the Joe Pisarcik fumble, the fumble, which is when victory formation got invented. Like that was invented the week after we blew that game. You're only up 6 points. You know what I'm saying? Anything could happen, and now suddenly that's an L. Please give me the 13-point lead. I'll take the 13-point lead.
I would have definitely too. It's like when he slid, I was like, come on. I know why you were doing it. I mean, it was a smart play. I understood it, but it's like, we need when we can score, let's score.
And the other thing is, if we had committed a penalty, like if somebody had gone off sides or something, the clock would have stopped, right? So there was any number of things that could have happened. Thankfully, none of them did. But we could have screwed that up and then been maybe forced to try to kick a field goal. Who knows? Maybe the field goal gets blocked. They run it back with 6 points is not a comfortable lead.
No. And you can see that would happen with us, though. That could definitely happen with us.
It's definitely happened with us. We have lost in more painful ways than that. And usually within the division. So this time it wasn't a division rival. It's usually against like Philly or Dallas.
But you know what? The Browns, when I watched that game, the Browns, if you really watch it, they mirror what we were doing this year. I mean, Deshaun Watson, he looks like Daniel Jones.
He's not the same guy he was. He's not even close.
Not even close.
And he gets paid even more than Daniel Jones. And they gave up a boatload of picks for him. So, yeah, I feel for the Cleveland fans.
Oh, man. The defense, today, I'll even start with the defense today. The defense was all over him. Was it like 8 sacks we got?
We had 8 sacks. We had 36 pressures. 36 pressures, which is the most pressures the Giants have ever gotten in a game since Pro Football Focus has been in existence and counting pressures. Now, they're not the only people who count pressures, but that particular company that Chris Collinsworth owns, that a lot of teams use, they said we set a record for our team, a franchise record with 36 pressures. That's crazy.
That was perfect. That looked like the defense that I like to see all the time.
And then in the fourth quarter, we took that off. We stopped pressuring in the fourth quarter. For some reason, once we got the big lead with that, we were like, okay, we got this or something. I don't know. Like you said, maybe we went to a prevent. But we stopped pressuring as much in the fourth quarter, and they almost came back and won the game. So anyway, we got the W.
Again, it was all about the W because it's all about the
W. And I took a picture, which I won't pull up now, but I took a picture of the game clock and the score on the TV screen right after they scored.
Okay.
It was 14 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first quarter, and we're down 7-0.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I was going to say that.
13 seconds into the game, we're down 7-0, and it wasn't a kickoff return. I wonder if that's a record. I didn't hear anybody look that up yet, but is that the fastest that you've been trailing
2 plays
without a kickoff return?
2 plays
Without a kickoff return. Like they didn't run back the kickoff for a touchdown. We got the kickoff.
Right.
And we're down in 13 seconds by a touchdown. That's crazy.
When that happened, it was the return man?
Eric Gray.
It's like when he got hit, I said, and I seen him fumble. I was like, oh, this is going to be a long one. This is going to be a long one. And they scored on, like you said, on the next play. I was like, how?
And then they had to kick off again, and we put Eric Gray back there again. I was like, what? I don't know who to put back, but I know who not to put back.
Not Eric Gray.
Of course, they kicked it to him again. They're like, let's see if he can do that again.
That was
painful.
That was the grab your head, throw it to the ground type thing. It's like, what are you doing? And, and these guys, it's funny. You remember back in the day, like when we had Meggett back there?
Oh, yeah.
There was a guy who could go all the way. I think these guys are just like, hopefully they'll catch it and then fall for maybe 2.
And hopefully there's no flag, because half the time we run a kickoff back, holding number, and now we're back at the 10 anyway. So, like, can we please just take the ball at the 30? The 30 is a good play. Catch the ball in the end zone, take a knee, we get the ball at the 30.
I have no problem with that.
Very good play.
I have no problem with that. No problem at all.
The only time that's not a good play is if there's like 2 seconds left in a half, and you're not going to score from 70 yards away. So now you run it out thinking, well, maybe I'll run the kickoff back. But how many times did that happen?
No, so our guys run into the tackles. They don't try to evade the tackle. They run into the tackle.
They run into it. Let me lower my shoulder and become Brandon Jacobs for a second. Anyway, so our short bus special teams did not help us this week.
No.
And the field goal we missed at the end, not the end, but late in the game, that would have put us up by 9. Do you know who that kicker is?
No.
Greg Joseph. Now, does that name ring a bell at all? Remember in 2022, the year we went to the playoffs,
right?
Beat Minnesota in the playoffs, but we had just lost to them in the regular season, late in the season. And the way we lost is we were winning, and they kicked a 61-yard field goal as time expired to beat us. And guess who kicked that field goal?
No, not Greg.
Greg Joseph. Greg Joseph beat us with a 61-yard field goal as the top clock was expiring when he was on the Vikings. And now we bring him over here to hit a little 9-iron, a little, sand wedge to ice the game, and he shanks it and sends it to the right. Like, what happened to you in these last 18 months?
Right. right. And now, is he going to be our guy from now on?
I don't know. They haven't announced who the kicker will be Thursday, because they still got that other guy on the practice squad whose name I can't really pronounce, McIntyre or something like that, who Greg Joseph beat out this week. That's why Greg Joseph kicked. But they're going to have another competition, I guess, today and tomorrow at practice to decide who to go with. I don't know. I don't feel much better than I felt when we didn't have a kicker.
But we need a field goal kicker, because
yes, that's an important thing to have.
Pretty much. Because I'm going there. Yeah, I always do it. I'm going there. Daniel Jones looked good. He look. Oh wait,
Daniel Jones looked good. Daniel Jones looked good.
He looked good.
Daniel Jones looked good. He didn't look good all the time.
No.
But he looked good.
No, he looked good. I just, I'm trying not to say negative things about him. I like what him. I know he stood in there a lot of times. He found neighbors a lot, which is great. Again, we talk about it all the time, and I can't wait for you to do the analysis. And people, we're working on getting you some plays. You'll see in Clay's corner.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the rights to use the footage.
And once we get that, we're gonna have this analysis feature. So the things we're talking about, you're gonna see
we can show you, right?
I definitely want to talk about and definitely get the visual of the routes that our guys run. Because I come to the conclusion, either they don't get open, our guys can't get open on short routes, or Daniel Jones is just locked in on one guy all the time.
But I think it's a combination of the two, but mostly the second one. Daniel Jones does not seem to scan the field, right? And whereas I mean, listen, you and I played flag football,
Right.
which is nowhere near football. But even when I quarterbacked in flag football, I would look at the safety to try to see what the safety was going to do,
Right.
and that would tell me which receiver to throw at. If you just look at the receiver, then the safety is watching your eyes like, oh, I guess the ball's going to that guy because that's the only person he looked at. And that's how I feel Daniel Jones plays quarterback most of the time. He's like, my play is supposed to go to this person running this route, so I better look at him to make sure he's there. Well, now the defensive backfield knows where you're looking.
Exactly.
So the good news is that he did take a deep shot to Jalen Hyatt, one, which, is not enough. And he overthrew Neighbors when he was wide open on a deep shot. But he did take a couple of deep shots. So I'm glad that he's attempting them. But I think we should attempt even more. And like you said, the route combinations, even if you don't throw the deep shot, let them run it so that the guy underneath has a better chance of getting open, as we've said each week so far.
I mean, when I was watching the game, what's interesting was Slayton. He makes a nice catch, but then it's like they don't throw it to him anymore. Is it me, or again, is he not getting open, or is it?
It seems, again, I'm not in the huddle, I'm not in the meetings, I'm not at practice, but it seems as though Daniel Jones either has been told to or has decided on his own to go to Neighbors. Like, when in doubt, throw to Neighbors.
Right.
And there's times when the defense is going to take Neighbors away from you. They're going to have somebody right up on the line of scrimmage, and they're going to have a safety over the top. They might even slide a inside linebacker to take away the slant. You can take away one receiver if you really want to.
Right.
So if the word gets out that all we do is throw to Neighbors, that's going to make it hard. Plus, you're going to get the man hurt. I mean, we don't want this young man. He's, barely old enough to drive.
Right.
And we're giving him 15 targets a game. Like, these are grown men that get paid too. They're going to be like, listen, let's just beat this man up. And
we're talking about 15 targets in the middle of the field where there's plenty of folks to knock him out.
Wherever it is. It's not like he just catches his steps out of bounds and nobody touches him.
Right. Right.
So the good news is he's producing. Neighbors is obviously a great player. And
yes.
There's never a wrong time to have a great player. We have a great player.
Yes.
I would love it if we had a slightly better quarterback who at least was willing to take deep shots. And there was a tight end sighting. I think
Bellinger
caught one and Theo Johnson caught one. We had two passes to tight ends. In fact, Daniel Jones also overthrew Johnson.
Overthrew Theo, right?
In the end zone. He overthrew Theo Johnson in the end zone. And the announcers were saying Theo has to come up with that catch. I mean, if he caught it, it'd be a highlight film catch.
It was like he had to reach one hand.
Great one-handed effort at a pass that was overthrown. Anyway, did Daniel Jones play enough to win? Yes, he did. Did we win because of Daniel Jones? We did not.
No.
And for $40 million a year, in fact, his cap hit this year is $47 million.
He's always going to say
he's supposed to be the reason we're winning, not just a guy who's along for the ride. Like, I'm just tired of that, and that's where we are.
He's along for the ride right now. We know it. I mean, we're just being honest. We know he's along for the ride.
And like, Neighbors saved him with that Randy Moss catch where you just housed somebody up, jumped him, snatched it. The touchdown, the first touchdown pass Neighbors caught was a great catch. Was an acrobatic catch. Was similar to the catch Theo Johnson would have had to make a play before that to score. So it's not like Daniel was just throwing these dimes. In fact, he threw an interception on this first possession. But because of the down and out the passer,
was it the out pattern on the left side?
Yes,
he can't throw it.
It was a slant, if I remember correct. I forget what the pattern was.
It was on the left side.
And the
quarterback jumped it.
Right, and they called roughing the passer, so they negated it. But we could have been down 14-0, like in the first 3 minutes of the game.
He cannot throw that out. He can't.
And then there was a play where he was in his end zone and threw this little floater. I don't know. I don't even know who that was for. That our offensive receiver broke it up. It was about to be picked off like on the 15. I could have fair caught that ball. That's how long it was up in there. I was like, what are you doing? Yes.
I got it. It's me.
So I don't know. There's just every now and then as he plays Daniel Jones, he still makes you scratch your head sometimes.
He does.
And at no point did he look like $47 million man. But
no,
we got a W. He was 17 for 19 in the first half.
Okay.
174 yards, I believe, and 2 touchdowns. So all of that, awesome. And we had a 21-7 lead at halftime. The only points they got were in those first 13 seconds.
Now, what'd you think about the offensive line?
Offensive line, it looked good. Again, he wasn't under constant duress at all. Deshaun Watson was under constant duress.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett is a beast. So he won off the edge, even against Andrew Thomas, a few times. So I'm not going to say he was never under pressure. And I'm sure he was always checking to see which side Myles Garrett was coming from. But it wasn't like he didn't have time to throw. He had time to throw most of the time.
Okay, good. Because I was gonna say I like what the offensive line did. I thought they again gave him some ample time. You're gonna see it every now and then. They're gonna break down, but it's like I look at Daniel's pocket presence, and I'm wondering does he have that clock in his head? I mean, 6 years in the league. By now, he should have that 1, 2, 3. Can you not open? Okay, either take off or there should be somebody as an outlet receiver for him should be like right there. If you
throw it to row L.
And no, I know I'm going to the top guy, but in the Chiefs offense, there's always an outlet guy for Mahomes. Always an outlet guy. But I'm looking for our outlet guy.
I mean, well, part of the problem is that we are in max protect a lot. When I say the offensive line is doing well, let me clarify that. The pass protection is doing well.
Okay.
Because it isn't always just 5 guys. In fact, it's rarely just 5 guys. We have at least one person staying in or chipping almost every play, and sometimes 2 or 3. Like we've been in some 2 tight end alignments where both tight ends chipped first before they release. And in some cases, they don't even release. And in other plays, we have the running back, you fake a hand off to the running back, and now he becomes the 6th blocker and he just stays there. So we're giving Daniel Jones some time, but the trade-off is that there aren't that many people in the pattern, at least not right off the snap. So in fairness to him, it's easier to defend if there's only 2 or 3 receivers going out.
Right.
If you've got 6 DBs covering 2 receivers, I think we could do that.
Yeah. A little difficult to get guys to get open.
Especially if we know they're not going deep.
Right.
I think we can do that.
Exactly.
So, the contested catches that neighbors and other people have to make is because there's no space. You have DBs all over the place and only a couple of receivers going out.
Now Wan'Dale looked pretty good.
I like Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale. He weighs about as much as I do, so I don't know how long he's going to last. But I like Wan'Dale. When he gets the ball in his hand, somebody's getting shook.
Yeah,
so if you didn't tackle him as soon as he caught the ball, somebody's getting shook.
Yeah. I'm just like him. I like Daniel to get him the ball on the move. So
Correct. Then if you hit him in stride, he's going to give somebody a little something.
Right. That's what I want to do.
Not you. I don't know who's going to tackle me, but it ain't going to be you.
He scares me on slants, though, because he's so small.
So small.
You saw what happened to Devontae Smith
yesterday? Did you see what happened to the Eagles receiver, Devontae Smith, yesterday?
No.
He got a concussion. He ran, I think it was a curl. Anyway, he got held up and kind of pushed backwards. And then some big defensive lineman came running up at him and hit him full on in the head and knocked his helmet off. And he was like in La La Land.
Wow.
You never want to see that.
No.
And he also weighs about $180.
Right. Oh, did you see
and
that?
He's like 6'1".
That one of the receivers, the defensive guy for Cleveland, I think it's his number 6, and he has I can't even pronounce his name, but he had on that helmet. He had that.
Yes.
Again, I don't understand why the NFL doesn't go to that. They do it in practice. Why not wear it in the game?
Well, this is the first year, I believe, that it was even allowed. Like, it's now optional. It's up to the player if they want to wear that. In the regular season, they were wearing it in the preseason, but now they're in the regular season. But you're right. I think more people should wear
it. If like Tua, he should have had it. It should have been mandatory. He has it on regardless.
Please.
If I'm a receiver for the Giants, I want it on because Daniel kind of leads you into getting smacked.
Yeah, you have no idea where the ball's going when Daniel throws.
I mean,
Yeah.
I always talk about that as far as because they keep talking safety, that will be a great mandatory thing to do. I can't see the Players Association say, no, we don't want that. It looks just like your helmet. And
I don't care what it looks like. If it's protecting your head, you should
right,
have it on.
you
I
saving
don't
your
care what it
client.
looks like. It looks a little funny to me right now, to be honest, but I don't care. If it's going to reduce concussions 10%, then it's worth it. And it's
Right,
probably more than 10%.
right, exactly. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this one. I
Sure.
thought about this during the game. I was thinking, like, okay, what's Clay thinking right now? Dayball looked like a genius in the first half with his play calls. Second half, did someone else call plays or something? But
Again,
I just wonder what happened with him in the second half. Did he go to bed?
you would like to think that we didn't get overconfident, right? Like, I hope that's not what it was. Like, okay, well, we got this. Let's just not blow it. Like, I hate when we play not to lose. Play to
Right,
win. Don't play not to lose. But it seemed like that to me. It seemed
right,
like we weren't on either side of the ball. We weren't playing in the second half the way we played in the first half.
right.
And I don't know if the sense of urgency wasn't there. Maybe they thought they had this. Maybe they thought, well, Deshaun Watson isn't going to bring them back against it. I don't know what it was, but we just did not have the same sense of urgency. Now, in fairness, I mean, we still outgained them. We had more time of possession. We statistically we had a better game than Cleveland did, and after the first 13 seconds, like, they really didn't do much at all for a long time.
Yeah.
But we 20 and like I said, we really could have had 28, right? Because he sat down on the 1 yard line. But you can't at halftime with a 21-7 lead just say, okay, we got this, and then go to your backup quarterback, basically.
Right.
We didn't actually physically change the quarterback, but it's like we changed the quarterback in the sense that we weren't doing the things that were moving the ball down the field.
Because we don't have, again, this is going back, into Giant lore. We don't have, that offensive line that can control the game.
Right.
We don't have that Joe Morris back there.
Yards yesterday. Yeah.
No Joe Morris.
No Joe Morris. No Brandon Jacobs. No Rodney Hampton.
None of that. I mean,
no Ron Johnson.
No, we got a 26 though.
We have a 26, yes. And he's fumbled 2 games in a row.
Right.
But other than those 2 plays, he's been playing well. He had over 100 yards in production yesterday, right? 60-something yards rushing and 40-something yards receiving. And a touchdown.
He's not bad. He's good.
He is good.
He's good. He's just not the 26.
How did the other 26 do yesterday? I can't remember.
Oh. Did he win the game for him? Oh God. We try not to go there, but
that's not. Let's try not. We go there every week, but let's just go briefly.
It's difficult. It's difficult because when you're watching the game, they always cut away, and it seems like he has the ball in his hands when they cut away. And the media, they push, look at what he's doing, and it's Giants, what are you thinking about? And
I was watching, I forget what game it was, but it wasn't the Eagles game and it wasn't the Giants game. And they were cutting to a highlight of him running for a 65-yard touchdown. And those announcers were like, boy, I know the Giants must feel bad. I'm like, why do you have the Giants name in your mouth? You're not even doing a Giants game. You're not even doing the Eagles game. Stick to your game, please. All right, yes, he scored a touchdown. We all saw it. Leave me alone.
We're gonna be okay though. I mean, I think again, staying optimistic. I'm staying optimistic with him. And that's just it's early. I know it's still early.
It's early, but it's getting late early. and honestly, we play Thursday this week against Dallas. And I know we're going to talk about that in another episode.
Right.
But that's a pretty big game. Dallas does not look, all that great right now. And we are 1 game out of first place. I mean, technically, if we win, the winner of this game, right? Dallas and the Giants are going to play Thursday. Whoever wins will have 2 wins. And they will be tied with the Eagles for the lead in the division in terms of number of wins. Technically, we'll be half a game back because the Eagles haven't played yet. But 2 wins leads the division right now, is my point. And somebody's going to have 2 wins Thursday night. might be
Mathematically, we're
us.
still there. We're still there mathematically. That's what.
Yes, and don't get me wrong, I'm not at all predicting any kind of positive season, but the division is down. And when the division is down, listen, we almost made the playoffs. I forget what year that was when Joe Judge first took over. That 2020, I think. Anyway, we were 6-10 and almost made the playoffs. So anything is possible. Anyway, getting back to this game, we look good on defense. The pass rush was really good, especially in the first half.
There you go.
Elijah Chapman got his first sack. He got a fumble recovery. Brian Burns got his first strip sack. Mm-hmm. That's the one Elijah Chapman recovered. We had a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Now,
which I loved. I loved it.
Which I love. In fairness, their tackles were all hurt. Like they were dropping like flies, right? Their starting left tackle, Jedrick Wills, got hurt. Their starting right tackle, Jack Conklin, is hurt. Their backup right tackle, DeJuan Jones, is hurt. Like they had people getting hurt left and right. So we were supposed to be able to beat, their third and fourth tackles, but we did, and that's what counts. We did. We've had situations like that before. The game against Washington, I thought we would beat their tackles, and we didn't. So I was happy that we actually got it done.
I honestly think we talked about this like early we actually talked about this in like probably episode 2 or 3. I look at it honestly that it's still early in that I see the team starting to develop now because of the short preseason.
Right.
And the offense, and like the number ones really haven't played together in game situations. So that's why I'm giving them a little more, rope, I guess you would say, on this one. Because
right.
I have to give them a little more rope on that because they're finally playing together.
Right. And the first 2 regular season games are basically like the 4th and 5th preseason game.
Right. Except for other teams, seem like
some teams seem to have it figured out, but for most teams, the first 2 weeks are sloppy.
Right.
Like they should charge less for the tickets because those 2 games are sloppy. Because by week 3, you start to see teams rounding into shape, and and we did, and we got a W.
Week 3, that means, and we got a W. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
What's really weird, among other things, if we beat Dallas, and again, I'm not predicting that, I'm not whatever, but if we happen to beat Dallas, we'll be 2-2. If you told a Giants fan in August, we're going to be 2-2 after 4 games, there is no chance that they would have thought that these would be the 2 we won and those would be the 2 we lost.
Right,
but
right.
Everybody was saying, oh, we got to start 2-0 because those are the 2 winnable games. Because after that, it's Cleveland and Dallas. How crazy would it be if we lost to Minnesota and Washington and then beat Cleveland and Dallas?
Right. That would be crazy. But I do want to beat Dallas, though. I definitely want to.
I always want to beat Dallas.
Is that a home game? I wanted this in Jerry's place or not because I would say I'm thinking.
I believe it's a home game, actually.
You got to find that out.
Yeah, it's a home game for us. It's a home game.
It is. That's interesting. I thought it would be down in Dallas since it's a Thursday night game.
Yeah, now I had to think about that, but I just looked it up. Yeah, it's a home game for us, and at least that means we don't have to travel, so that's good.
Right. Oh yeah. So
on a short week, it's nice if you don't have to travel.
Man, we're gonna talk about that in our next episode.
Yes.
But I know, but again, I will say this Cleveland game on the whole, I'm happy about, not just the score, but the way some guys are progressing. I like the way, again, how Daniel Jones is getting the ball in Neighbors. And he did stick out. Now he's getting the ball to Wandell, which is great. Bellinger, like you said, Bellinger got a reception in the game.
Wow, a Bellinger sighting.
We should even use Bellinger a little bit more. He should,
Absolutely. Again,
that's a giant staple, our tight end. Let's get back to that. It worked in the past. It can work now. It definitely can work now. And I'd like for him get Slayton the ball a little bit more. Would be great.
Right.
That's fine.
Bellinger, Theo Johnson, and Darius Slayton each had 1 catch. Like, there's no reason they can't each have at least 2 catches. That just seems like not a heavy lift. Tyrone Tracy had 2 catches. Devin Singletary had 4 catches. Wandale had 7. Malik Neighbors had 8. Jalen Hyatt had 1 target, but no catches.
We got to work on that.
We got to do better than that. Like, it's not a good idea to make it so obvious who you're going to.
Right. And like it's funny, you said it earlier, you said a little while ago. I believe he was told get the ball to Neighbors.
Yeah. Because I want him to get the ball to Neighbors, just not all the time.
Not on every other play.
Right.
There's other guys. Actually, other guys if you hit them, neighbors will get one-on-one coverage after a while. But now they double covering them a
We
bit.
talked about this before. If you spread the ball around, especially early, you make everybody's job easier.
Right.
I don't know.
Defense look good. On the whole, defense look good. Defensive line look really good. They got a taste of what it feels like to do what we expected them to do.
Right. Before I forget, there was one more head scratch. I was going to say bonehead. I'll just say head scratching decision on defense. Once again, we put Tay Banks down by the end zone, one-on-one, isolated, split out wide against their best receiver. This time, Amari Cooper, right? Last week was Justin Jefferson. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, Justin Jefferson. And what do? They immediately say, oh, got 11 on the squeeze. And they throw a quick slant. Now, in fairness, Amari Cooper was split even further out wide than Justin Jefferson was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So maybe it would have been harder to get a second person out there. But somebody else got to beat me. Like, Amari Cooper is a legit 1,000-yard receiver every year, like a multi-Pro Bowl player. I am not putting Tay Banks, 15 yards away from any help, one-on-one with him inside the 5-yard line. What happened?
Never happened.
What happened? They scored easily. What happened when we did it with Justin Jefferson? They scored easily. How many times does this have to happen for us to learn this lesson? Hey, maybe that's not our best play. Maybe make somebody else beat me besides your number one receiver, wide open, one-on-one, isolated by himself. No.
Never. But it's the Giants. It's the Giants. It's this era of the Giants, not the old guys that we in our younger days, not those guys.
Not those guys. These are the head scratching Giants. Those were the head thumping Giants. These are the head scratching Giants. And I guess we just have to get used to that. All right, but anyway, listen. W. We got a W. We're off the schneid, as they used to say.
Right.
I love having a win. I love being one game back of first place. If Philly had lost that game, we'd be in four-way tie. So, this is a division that is not going to be run away with, it looks like.
No.
So, let's keep hope alive.
Daniels kept his job for another week, so I'll give him that.
Yes.
And again, it's funny. You had that, you want him to play well, but at the same time, you're thinking, we're not
you either want him to play
away from
really
the first round pick.
And show that he is the guy, which, I don't have high expectations for, but of course I would love that. If he was to start, playing lights out, I would not be unhappy about that.
No.
Or you want him to fail miserably and be benched so we can move on. But this is the purgatory state that we're in now. He's playing okay. We're getting enough time for. Oh, and one last thing about the offense. The other reason I'm really annoyed that we aren't throwing deep to Jalin Hyatt and anybody, but especially Jalin Hyatt in particular, is because all 5 of our offensive linemen are healthy now. Do you really think we're going to have 17 games where these 5 guys are going to be healthy the whole time?
Right.
You think we're going to get 85 games out of these 5 players? Highly unlikely. It's possible, but highly unlikely. So if we're not throwing deep now while our 5 offensive linemen are healthy and protecting him, what are we going to do when Evan Neal has to step in because somebody got hurt? Or when
not Evan Neal.
What's his name? Aaron Stinney has to take over at center because JMS got hurt. Like, what are we going to do when the backups come in and he doesn't have time to throw? Then it's going to be like, oh, he can't throw deep now. He got no time. Which is why you need to be doing it now.
Exactly.
This is the time to develop that chemistry, develop that timing, to show safeties, y'all better stay back because Jalin can fly, while you still have your starting 5 offensive linemen in. Because very soon, there's a better than average chance that at least one of them is going to go down. And it only takes one.
Right.
As soon as you have one leaky part of the offensive line, teams are going to just take full advantage of that. And then you've got to change your whole scheme to make up for that guy who's terrible.
True. Facts.
So we got to do it now. Anyway, I just wanted to get that in. But listen, W, I'm celebrating. I'm still happy. I'm not even thinking about anything else right now. Apparently, yes, I am. But not thinking about too much right now other than the W, and it's all about Big Blue.
It's all about Big Blue. Hey, everyone, thank you again for watching this episode. And, we always ask this too. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and even share this with others. And let them know about It's All About Big Blue. I'm your man, Mazo, and that's
Clay from Brooklyn.
Yeah, until next time, remember, it's all about Big Blue. We'll see you.
Yes, it is.
Peace.
Peace.